So today I'm starting out in my own gardens once again because we introduce some indigenous vegetation. Remember the previous was lots of non-indigenous, this is indigenous. So what you're looking at now is the confetti bush. My cameraman just fell. Not even, it's a confetti bush. And the confetti bush has about 8 different species, and it grows quite a rounded shrub and then becomes 2 meters high. When you touch it and you smell it, it gives a beautiful fragrance and a lovely flower. As you can see, lovely flower. So what happens is when it's big, you shake it, shake it, shake it. I don't want to hurt this one. And then it falls like little confettis. But for more indigenous vegetation, let's go visit Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens. So welcome to the gardens. That's the entrance. It is impossible to do this gardens just within 1 hour. So my advice is always just to do it as a day trip. There's a circular walk, an easy walk that you can see it's quite accessible. This is statue of Nelson Mandela. When he visited the gardens, he planted this tree here to your right hand side, the pepperbark tree, as a symbol of healing to the nations. And when you continue with this circular walk, you also find a useful plants gardens, a sculpture gardens, medicinal plant gardens, a water-wise garden. So the possibilities to spend here, I mean, it's endless. You can literally pack a picnic basket and just spend your whole day here. This is some of the aloe ferox that we have in the country. So we'll do this tour in rather 2 or 3 segments just to give you a big overview of what is to see. So the gardens is quite big. It's over 520 hectares big. Well, just to give you a if you want to compare it, it's almost the size, it's bigger than Robben Island. So there's so many places of interest that you can visit when you visit the botanical gardens. This section over here that I'm looking at now is a wild almond hedge, and this was planted in the 1600s by Jan van Riebeeck, and this was a natural buffer between the Dutch East Indian Company and the Bushmen. This wild almond hedge is about 3.9 meters, 3.7 meters wide, and also form part of the Protea family, indigenous family. So let's start at the oldest part of the botanical gardens. The section that we are in now is called the dell. Now the dell, the laying out of these, this portion of the gardens dates back to 1811. Keeping in mind that the gardens dates back to, it became the Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens in the year 1913. So this portion of the gardens was purchased up by a colonial secretary, Colonel Bird, and he built a bath in a shape of a bird, if you can have a look there, and that's also to commemorate his last name. Natural spring that runs from Table Mountain runs through granite, which makes it nice and crystal clear, and when you taste it, it's a little bit acidic. This portion of the gardens was laid out by prisoners. The very first gardener, when they started with the laying out of the gardens, in fact, went to fight in World War I. So we're ending off today in our cycad gardens. Cycads have survived dinosaurs. They're over 280 million years old, and South Africa has been recognized as a hot spot for cycads in the world. So we have about 37 different species. You get them in male and in female. And when we visit the cycad, there's a big cone. When it starts to prepare for reproduction, there's a big yellowish cone that forms in the middle of this tree. And this is just an indication that they are busy preparing for reproduction. So these trees are also protected in our country. And so tomorrow we will continue with our second day at Kirstenbosch Botanical.